Joe Buck is here, calling tonight's NLCS on FS1, or as we refer to it here, we refer to as Skip Fox here. Game 5 of this evening with Smoltz and Buck and Ken Rosenthal and Tom Verducci. And Undeniable with Joe Buck right here on this channel on Audience. And then Lucky Bastard.
How about that?
That's your new book.
That's my new book.
It's in stores. It's on Amazon.
It'll be in stores November 15th.
And you can pre-order that bad boy right now. So
when you see the lines,
are you going to do
up and down malls,
book signings and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're going to have one out.
I've got one out here December 5th.
Okay.
And maybe I'll wrangle you into interviewing me about my book.
Oh sure, I'd love that.
Would you do that?
100%, I'd do that.
I would tell you that you're the second person I've asked. The first person I asked initially didn't get back to me.
Who's that? Can we throw this person under the bus, please? Who is it?
Vin Scully.
Well, we can't throw. He's on. There's no bus.
There's no bus. The bus would just magically.
How does one get in contact with Vin? You have an email?
Well, that was hard.
Do you have an email?
I feel like
Vin
I could call Obama quicker than I could call Vin Scully. The funny thing is, I've known Vin because of my dad's career. I was a kid. I mean, they were contemporaries, and I've known him since I was a little boy. And now he could not be nicer. He could not be more wonderful when you're around him. But I never really got to know him like as, one of the guys.
Right.
I don't know that anybody really did. He was just kind of in his own pocket over there in his booth. But I did. I called him. I said, look, I'm sure this is the last thing you want to do, and you want to keep a low profile. But and he didn't get back. And then when I saw him on Kimmel, I thought, I'll reach out again just in case he didn't hear my voicemail.
Right.
And then I did it by email this time to take the pressure off, and I read his email in his voice, the response back to me.
And what was it?
It was like, go to hell. No, it was
with Farmer John. You and Farmer John.
Right, yeah. It was the nicest blow off of all time.
You know what? And he's supposed to be there tonight, by the way. That's the rumor, that he's coming to his first game as a fan.
Yeah, well, look,
tonight.
People for the last, I would say, 3 years, as this time has, finally come to pass, where he's finished now in a broadcast booth. They've either shot at me on Twitter or Facebook, or articles have been written about how, wouldn't it be nice if you, Joe Buck, relented and let Vin Scully come in and do an inning? I'm like, hell yes, I would drive the car. I would rent the helicopter, whatever it would take to get him there. Fox would be so for it. First of all, I don't hold the keys to the booth. Secondly, it would be a thrill.
Sure.
That's how I grew up. I mean, as much as I'm my dad's kid, as far as national TV, that's Scully to me. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm from St. Louis, Scully's that voice. So it would be phenomenal, but he just does not want to do it. And I get it. It would be a foreign situation. He doesn't know John Smoltz that well, at least as an on-air broadcast partner at all. Who's talking in his ear? He wants to be comfortable if he's going to do something like that, and I respect that he's done.
So do you think when he shows up tonight, he's going to keep score? Like, what does he know what to do?
I don't know. That would be so weird.
Does he order a beer? I mean, you call.
That'd be great.
And then you get
put his feet up,
because
I
hope on FS1 tonight that if he does, obviously you want to give him his space, but you do have a camera on him just to see what it looks like as a fan, or I don't think he'll. I don't know. Maybe he'll be in a suite or something.
I would assume they would have him
just
in
have
a suite
out of the way. Yeah.
But I would, if I could,
that's great,
wrap my arms around him, physically pick him up, carry him into the booth, walk out and lock the door. I would do it, but that wouldn't be fair.
Joe Buck here on the Rich Eisen Show prior to calling Game 5 of the NLCS, and we'll discuss that tonight. But I do want to get into a little bit more of your dad and Vin, because they called the catch, right? Vin did it on TV. Your dad did it on radio.
They both called the catch, and now that you're saying that, they both called the Gibson home run. My dad was doing the radio, and Vin was doing TV.
Think about that. Did they do the Go Crazy too? Where your dad did the radio for Ozzie Smith, and
there's a chance,
and Vin did that for NBC.
There's a real good chance they were in side-by-side booths for all three of those moments: the Ozzie Smith home run, the Kirk Gibson home run, and the Dwight Clark catch. Crazy.
We'll never see anything like that again.
No, and I think that's what hits home with so many people. That now that Vin, who's been behind the mic for them for 67 years and bridges the gap between Brooklyn and LA, you hear that voice, and that voice is baseball to me. And you hear that voice, and that's kind of the last remaining guy in that golden era of sports announcers, and specifically baseball announcers. And now that time's over, and that's hard for people of my age, your age, to
Sure,
take.
absolutely. And again, your book's called Lucky Bastard, and we'll get more into
Which I
your
think
book.
I only wrote it, and I asked Vin because I wanted to actually hear him say, "We're here to talk about Lucky Bastard."
Yes.
Just
to get it. Hey, I'm saying it too, and we'll get more into your book. But part of the reason why I'm sure you're calling yourself that, I mean, you've been fortunate to have some people next to you in the booth. I mean, McCarver for all those years. John Smoltz now,
it's great.
Is awesome. I mean, I love listening to him.
He's an easy listen.
But it's not just the easy listen too. It's just, when I was in this situation, and then he'll throw that out there. Or last night, a perfect example, not to geek out on this sort of stuff, but I do, being a broadcast, honk. Just the replays that you were showing of Jason Hayward's first at bat, about how he was behind on some of these balls that were coming his way, and then he swung through one. And this is when the Cubs were pressing, no score yet. And it was before what was going on with the replay, which we'll get to in a second. But he was just on it. He could see it, and I was sitting there thinking, okay, this guy's still struggling, and this is kind of symptomatic of what the problems the Cubs have been having in this series, or maybe this is the reason why they're going to go out. I just love the whole thing about it.
I agree.
Incredible.
When John Smoltz in 2016 says, "Here's how I would get him out," or "Here's where I'm looking," or the stuff we say during the break, it carries a lot of weight, because a lot of these postseason pitching records with regard to success and excellence in the month of October. Now, granted, this is my Phil Mushnick of the New York Post moment.
Careful.
These guys get a lot more opportunities because there are more rounds of the playoffs.
Yes,
so
of
you
course.
start piling up pitching records. But I could make the case that it also gives you more chance for failure, especially on the mound. So, yeah, the totals are a little bit warped compared to the greats of all time. But, man, I mean, his postseason career is as big a reason why he's in the Hall of Fame as any.
He's great. I just love, you guys are a great listen, and I look forward to Game 5 tonight. Do you think there's any, because as soon as you're done here, you're heading to Dodger Stadium, do you think there's any chance by the time you get to work tonight, you hear it's Clayton Kershaw on the mound
I
this
was
evening?
kind of hinting around at that last night, only because what Dave Roberts is awesome. I think he's done a hell of a job, the manager of the Dodgers. But there's a long time between when he tells us what their plan is at 1:30 in the afternoon and where they sit at the end of a long night, a 4-hour game in essence. And now you're tied, and now you're facing Leicester. Now the advantage goes back the other way. It's the beauty of these series, and it's why the Dodgers coming in backward, having to use Kershaw as much as they did against Washington, really hurts them here. And now the Dodgers are trying to play catch up while the Cubs are in line, everybody full rest, ready to go. I said last night to Smoltz on the way out, until I see Kenta Maeda standing on the mound with a ball in the first inning, part of me is still going to believe that somehow Kershaw walks out.
I'm with you, because, I mean, if you pitch him in Game 6, how much would you be able to get out of him in a do-or-die 7?
That's the thing. It's the Game 7, and this, to me, has 7 games written all over it as we sit here right now. And we saw it in the World Series with Randy Johnson in 2001. He pitched Game 6, came back and saved Game 7, or got the win. I don't know how it shook out, but he was there at the end picking up Schilling. So, man, it's compelling stuff. It's what makes postseason baseball so fun.
And just listening to you, I can't tell who you're rooting for, Joe. It sounds sometimes like you're rooting so hard for the Cubs,
right?
And then you're rooting so hard for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's
my balancing act.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And then I heard you root so hard for the Indians and the Blue Jays. I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's Ernie Johnson,
But I was there rooting.
You were, right?
I was rooting.
Deep down.
Deep down. I mean,
that's how next
a lot
level
of people
you are.
know I was born in Canada.
Were you really?
No. No, I was not. But it's an easy phenomenon. This time of year, Twitter just sucks for me, or Facebook. I get these morons on Facebook that Facebook me, and somehow it comes to my phone. And it's like, you suck. You're rooting for the Cubs. You suck at golf too. Go die. And I'm like reading that. Here we go into the 4th inning, which is stupid that I can't get it off my phone. So if you have an IT guy here at DirecTV,
we got a great tweet. We got a great tweet while you're waiting, Joe, from Edgar Corden. Rich, ask Joe Buck while he's so anti-Cubs. He's supposed to be a neutral reporter. He hates our team. He makes us sick.
Yeah. First of all, I love how these people speak on behalf of thousands of people.
No, millions, Joe.
What's his name?
Don't.
Edward?
Edgar.
Edgar. Why don't you ask me that?
How do I...
Powder puff question asking.
Ask Joe why he's
I don't have the guts.
Why he's anti-Cubs.
Yeah, Joe.
How could I be anti-Cubs? How could I be anti-Dodgers? But people think I'm anti-Cub, I'm assuming...
Because you're a Cardinal.
Because I'm from St. Louis.
Yeah.
But I'm a broadcaster.
You are.
And here's the thing, and I started to go there before Edgar ruined our moment. Thanks, Edgar. I hope you have a nice day. And I'll miss you. People hear the hometown announcers all year, and then we show up in when they care the most.
Yes.
And we're playing it down. So they hear me get excited for a Adrian Gonzalez home run, and it's like it pisses them off. I get it. I'm just trying to get excited for both sides and call the game, but I get it because I'm a huge Blues fan. I'm a huge hockey fan. And for as much as I love Kenny Albert and the guys who were calling the playoff games last year for the Blues, I'm like, I want John Kelly and Darren Pang, the guys I hear all year, to call when I care the
great,
most.
Dude.
Panger.
I got to meet him at ESPN.
He's awesome. But that's the point. People at home want to hear it from their side, and they don't want to hear that other stuff. So
Joe, I'll give you one guess what Edgar's avatar is.
An egg. Attaboy. Watch out for those egg avatars.
Look out for them.
Yeah.
So can you do your best Harry Carey tonight, and then your best Scully? And
Hi, everybody.
There you go. Just throw that in there. See how that flies.
Scully. I will do.
Do it. Yeah, just do that. So make the Cubs fan know that you're speaking to them.
Yeah, that I speak Cub.
Yeah, and then we'll give you a Bloody Mary 4 or 5 before you leave here.
Did Edgar hear the grand slam that Miguel Montero hit?
Yeah, you nailed that.
Okay.
I'll ask him.
Where was Edgar then?
I can ask him.
Yeah,
Edgar?
where was? Yeah,
dearest Edgar.
where was dearest?
Joe, what would you like me to write back to Edgar right now?
What, you really want me
I'm
to
going to do it
that?
right now. Yeah, I do.
I love Edgar.
Yeah.
I love all
There you
those
go.
fans.
We love
fans
everybody.
like
Okay,
Edgar.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk some football with you, and then your book as well.
Football's still going on, huh?
Because you know what I want to talk about with your book. You know where I'm going.
I do.
Because,
My dad and strip joints?
definitely not.
That's in there.
Is that really?
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jack and Dollar Bills is in there?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Come from a long line of strip joint aficionados. And I've carried on the tradition well.
All right. Joe Buck is here in this house of dance known as The Rich Eisen Show. Back with more in a moment. Vistaprint.com. Here, Joe. Do you have one of my business cards?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Here we go. Joe does not have it. So I customized my Vistaprint business card
With your Sharpie.
Yeah, I've got my Sharpie
Or
out
are you
right
just
now.
going to sign it for
No,
me?
I'm not going to do that. I'll put my. No.
You're so vain.
No. I'm putting my cell phone number down, even though you have
Well,
it.
I thought you just said you personalize them. Why would you
I
not
didn't
have your
personalize.
cell-
I'm writing my cell phone number down on it because I have customized my Vistaprint business card with my show logo and my email and my address.
But
and
not
now
your
I'm in-
cell?
No.
So the
I'll
cool
leave it up
guys
for
get the
special
cell.
people. There you go.
This is for the waitress at,
That's right.
at Chili's that says, I'd love to talk to you about my Sunday ticket package.
No, let's just put it this way.
Here, email me.
If Edgar was here, he would not get one of those.
Edgar has responded.
500 business cards. That's a tease. 500 business cards starting at $9.99. Just use code Eisen at checkout. 50% savings over regular site pricing. Tell me, how great does that card look?
It's great, but get rid of the New York number. You're an LA guy.
Never, ever. Enter my code Eisen at checkout. That's code Eisen. Don't wait. Go to Vistaprint.com and order today. 500 business cards for $9.99. Joe, don't pick your teeth with that. Although it shows off the card stock. So I guess some Indians were tweeting at Batista. Is that a true story? Is that a true story? Some Indians were tweeting at Batista?
Indian players, yeah.
Did you see any of this stuff?
Because he said Ryan Mallett was going to be shaking in
Not
his
Ryan
boots.
Mallett.
Oh, who's
Ryan
it?
Merritt.
Oh, Merritt.
Yeah, Ryan Mallett might start for the Ravens.
Oh, okay.
Let's check some of these out with Joe Buck sitting here on the set. What do we have here? Trevor Bauer. Oh, yeah, that's shaking in a boot right there. You like that? An empty champagne. Oh, there's some boots.
Great Photoshop.
Corey Kluber shaking in his boots. What else do we got here?
Wow.
That's
terrifying. Guy Fieri.
That's Guy Fieri.
On Saturday Night Live. There you go. Some quality Twitter trolling right there.
Yeah.
It's
just good fun.
So Francona back in the World Series.
He's the best. I love that guy. Now it is in my book.
Yes.
that when I was broadcasting in Louisville, he was on the first team that I broadcast as a player in 1989. He was at the end of his career, and I was a traveling secretary, so I was handing out money, meal money, and the plane tickets and the hotel rooms to Francona and Leon Durham and all these guys that were on this team. It was crazy. I was 19.
Wow. Did not know that. And then 5 years later, he was Michael Jordan's manager.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. He managed Jordan, and then I maintain to this day one of the main reasons why the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004 was the job he did as their manager.
No question about it. Back with Joe Buck more in a moment. You could just hear the Cubs' disdain in the voice of whoever called that.
I know.
You could just hear how much.
I kind of wanted to do like a little DJ shout out, like Edgar on the internet. This one goes out to you from Game 1, 8th inning grand slam, Miguel Montero. To you, Edgar. Mr. You Hate the Cubs.
Edgar has responded.
And what's Edgar's response? And this, by the way, this is a burgeoning rival. I think we should split screen this.
Me and an egg?
You on one side of the screen, Edgar on the other.
Yep. That'd be great.
And hashtag this war.
Hashtag war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
what
is
does he say?
And we'll call this show Worst Take.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Sorry, Joe, but you are a hater, Cubs. I think he transposed us. And I'm having a great day after last night.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So he's happy.
Yeah, he's happy.
I don't think we're going to be able to come to, we've split screen radio audience. We've split screened it, and Brockman represents Edgar on the left.
Wow, you're Edgar today.
Channel your inner Edgar.
Yeah.
I had a hard-boiled egg for breakfast, Rich. The shells are in here somewhere.
Okay, very good.
On the split screen if you want.
Nicely done.
Edgar has 4 followers.
Edgar the Egg, right there.
Here's the deal. Thank God people care. Right?
They do. I know. And
it would suck if you came and you did the games and A, they didn't know you were there somehow, or B, they didn't. I mean, it's fine.
Well, a lot of people are saying today that instant replay let Major League Baseball down last night.
Yeah, I think they got it wrong.
You could see for sure, because to me, the way I looked at it is that if the call was safe on the field, they would have stayed with that.
I agree, but I think if you piece it together, I think his fingers were down on the plate before the edge of the webbing of the glove of Contreras caught him on the chin. That's just what I saw.
But the thing I mentioned in hour one, that it's the first instance, and you would obviously know better than I would, calling all these games as you have, the first instance of instant replay in a playoff game being inconclusive, and the arguments that we hear all the time in the NFL over inconclusive. And the NFL, it took a while for the NFL to get their verbiage right of stands is called and confirmed, and baseball hasn't done that
No,
yet.
It's interesting because when you're in it, now that's the first time I've really looked at it since last night. Okay. So I'm literally, when I'm calling the game, I'm like that to the monitor.
That about a foot away.
I'm looking, yes. Can I put your card down now?
Please, you can.
I'm like a foot away from the monitor. Now, I will say that to me, the fingers get down on the plate. But if you want to compare it to the NFL, what the NFL will tell you is, especially on this catch, no catch stuff, bang, bang, they're going to say incomplete. Mm-hmm. Also, on a replay like that, if it is that kind of tough to really piece together, they'll just stick with the call. And so I think that's why. I think you could make, if you pieced it together frame by frame, I would bet that he's safe. But I understand why they didn't make the change. So, and more now that I see it the day after than when we were in it and everybody's kind of hyper about it.
Because the thing that I think many people are outraged about is because they come out of their confab with New York, and I don't know, to me it's a Saturday Night Live skit guy, whoever brings out the pack. Yeah. That they're connecting their headsets to, whoever pack guy is, you know.
There's got to be a better way.
You know what I mean? Like that pack guy comes out,
right?
Because he's got his ultimate fanny pack on, and they're connecting headsets.
It should be a 30 for 30 at least.
Who's pack guy?
Pack guy,
right? Everybody's got a pack guy in them. Right?
There should be a postseason pack guy.
That's what I'm saying. Will you refer?
Should be Bobby Moynihan of SNL.
Exactly. He's pack guy.
Right.
You see where I'm going?
As Riblet.
Yes.
What if I told you?
You've picked it. You've picked it up. And please, on the broadcast, refer to him as Pack Guy.
Pack
from
Guy.
Now
he
on.
will be Pack Guy. I am hoping we don't see Pack Guy.
I understand.
But if we get him, he will be Pack Guy.
The thing that I think people are most outraged about is that the umps signal out. And so it makes you think that they've seen conclusively he's out. whereas the out might be there was inconclusive evidence and we're staying with the call as is. And I think people would have understood that more had baseball had that in their instant replay communication system.
It was supposed to be that way. And I say that because it was supposed to be initially when instant replay came about that an umpire was going to flip on a mic or the PA announcer was going to lay out what was seen or not seen, and this is why, for the crowd in the game. Because the crowd at the ballpark obviously has the worst understanding of what happened because they don't know.
Flipped out.
And umpires are like, we don't want to, that's not in our job description.
It's got to be, though. It's got to be.
Personally, I think it is. Because I think it should be because the crowd at the stadium should be made aware of A, what they're reviewing, and B, what the result is, and C, maybe another line as to why the result was.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to go like full hockey and put it in quatrain form. You know what I mean? They don't have to.
Pentameter?
Yes, they don't need to do that. But just basically saying, after further review, there was no conclusive evidence. Play stands as called. He's out. I think that might have been
it would
better.
Pacify the crowd, and it educates the people that are bothering to pay money to go into the stadium, fight traffic. Yeah.
Or watch it.
But they don't. And then you have to rely on a tweet. We went down to Ken Rosenthal. He read the tweet. But again, the people in the stadium don't have that luxury. But I do think Ed Hockley should now do his calls in haiku.
When's your next football game? When do you know it? Which one
the 6th of November.
Where are you going to be?
I believe it's Philly at Giants.
There you go. Yeah, and there is Giants news that we'll get to shortly here on the Rich Eisen Show involving Josh Brown, their kicker. But before I let you go, sir, before you have to get to
and we
work,
don't have to do that. We don't have to promote a book. I would imagine you as a host, the last thing you want to do is have somebody on that's going to promote something of their own.
No. My platform is your platform. Mi casa is su casa. Okay. Let's put it that way. Okay. No, look, I wrote a book. And the toughest part about writing that book, now, geez, wow, it's almost 10 years ago.
Wait, you wrote a book,
Stop
Rich?
it. You know, well, yes. You know, and your response to me saying that is always what I get with the Game Day Morning guys. You have a podcast? You have a show? Because my philosophy is, if not me, who? If not now, when?
What the philosophy
you've got to say, you know, what's going on in your world. And the toughest part of that book that I did 9 years ago was selling it. Wasn't writing it. It was getting out there.
It's an undertaking. It's another job.
Well, it is because you also wanted to succeed. And to me, there's nothing more personal than your story.
There's pride in that.
On a shelf, your kids are going to read it. You know, I mean,
well, my kids have read it. I didn't want to put. I didn't want to put anything out that my kids weren't okay with, and it was not easy at the beginning because there's divorce in there. There's, their lives. There's a lot in there about their grandfather, my dad. There's stuff in there. I mean, the title of it, Lucky Bastard, is not just because I'm a lucky bastard. It's because of the way I came into this world. So there's a double meaning there. And there's a story behind that the average person walking around the earth, A, doesn't care about, B, doesn't know about in 2016. So it's more personal than, hey, if you want to know about what was really going on in the 01 World Series, check out Chapter 4. I didn't want to write that kind of a book. It's you're introduced to people in my life when they were introduced, and then a lot of these people come back around when I'm older. I mean, I met Tim McCarver, when I was 4, and then I'm doing a World Series with him when I'm 27. So I've led a very blessed, lucky life, and that's really I want it. Here's the other thing. People think they know me, whether it's Edgar or it's anybody who watches me do a game, or I'm my dad's son, I'm the Randy Moss, that's disgusting call guy. They have me in a box, and they have no idea who I really am. And you're in there a lot because of how I met my wife, Michelle. And
I haven't seen the book yet. I didn't know I was in it or all in it.
You're in there because her initial reaction to you when I was stalking her through you was, I hope it's not Joe Buck who's asking for my number.
Well, she went through, because I said it was many A-list announcers.
Right. She went through people that were actually dead before she got to me.
It was almost that bad, yes.
Right.
That's
Kurt Gowdy?
That's a true story.
And Red Barber? No, he doesn't want to talk to me.
I knew that you went personal, certainly when I woke up 3 weeks ago and this whole business with the hair plugs went down.
That was, I'm glad. I mean, it's not like I put that out, and Richard Deitch wrote a very nice piece, but he took a sliver of the book where it said that I, Joe Buck, became addicted to hair plugs. Like, can you become addicted to that? It's the most painful, awful thing in the history of the world. And it's not like I'm at parties in the corner freebasing hair plugs. So that was kind of tongue-in-cheek in the book, but out of context, it looks like in this world, everybody goes, I'm addicted. I'm sex addicted. I'm whatever addicted. Don't you feel sorry for me? It was not that at all. It was kind of said jokingly, but I know that's what's going to get the play coming out of it, and I really don't give a crap.
No, it's okay. I just took it as, you just hate all follically challenged colleagues of yours. That's all. Just in the same way that you hate everybody's
There's
teams.
only one.
Me. Van Pelt?
Shulman.
Okay,
Mean
got
man.
it.
Mean guy.
Shulman!
The nicest guy in the world. Nobody can ever say one. He's just the bald guy that popped into my mind.
Yeah, let's go throw John Miller in there, too.
John Miller.
Yeah.
It's just a fun thing to kind of generate conversation. But yeah, it's purely ego. It has nothing to do with TV.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a bald guy, and I started in on that process when I was in my early 20s.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm telling you, you want to experience pain?
No, thank you. No, I told you.
It's
I've told the story. I'll tell it to you real quick because I know you got to get to Dodger Stadium. That I checked into the idea of it about 2 years ago. A friend of mine gave me the name of a doctor here in Southern California, and it's a long drive to this doctor. So they're like, let's FaceTime. We FaceTimed, and the doctor's assistant got on first, said the doctor will be sitting down in a minute. Good, fine. So I'm sitting there on FaceTime. Doctor sits down, looks at me, goes, oh, wow.
Oh, God. And you're like, well, because...
I'm like, so I guess we won't be doing this. Well, and he started telling me this process, and it sounded downright medieval and how long it's going to take. And I'm like, no thanks.
It is barbaric is a word with a word in front of it in my book. And it's basically stripping a live strip of hair out of the back of your head while you're awake. And then they slit, plant.
Oh, my God.
And it's the numbing of your head with these shots that makes your eyes just bleed, and you're sitting there the whole time going, what in the hell am I doing to myself?
Yeah.
And why?
Were you working at the time? Like,
I was working. I was going back. Like, my football season would end before the baseball season.
Yeah, not everyone works every day. You know,
it's only like literally a 2 week.
Joe's a lucky bastard.
2 week recovery process.
Oh yeah, I would have had to take time. I would have had to take time off.
Rich,
I'd have to take time off and stuff like. I don't have time for that sort of stuff.
Ball is beautiful, Rich.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Once
it is, and
once you go Urlacher, you can never go back.
Can't go back.
But that's the thing. You better commit. I mean, it's a full-on commitment. You know the ones that did it once or twice, and they're like, "That's the most. I'm never doing it again."
Yeah.
Then that looks ridiculous.
Love you, Joe. Thanks for coming in. Have a great time hating on both teams tonight. Okay?
Can't wait.
Yeah, I look forward
Edgar,
to it.
This one's for you.
And so we'll hear Pack Guy tonight if he comes out.
Pack Guy?
Pack Guy. That's it. That's the only tug on the
Pack Guy's the only thing I'm taking with me out of here?
And my business card.
You should definitely drop Edgar during the show, during the broadcast tonight.
Is there anybody named Edgar on these two rosters?
Maybe bring up Seattle. Of
all the DHs. Here's a guy who should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
If you bring up Edgar, I mean, it would be fantastic for
it
the
would
show.
for 4 people. And I'm looking at it.
And the entire Rich Eisen show
audience.
audience.
There's a larger
I'm
group.
not saying that, but they're not going to care. And then I've taken this moment and made it about me and Edgar. And I'm done with Edgar. From this moment at 11:35 West Coast time, Edgar, you're dead to me.
Joe Buck, catch him tonight on the NLCS Game 5 on FS1 at 8 Eastern Time. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you, brother. Yep. If you come back for the World Series, we'll have you back.
You better do my book thing now.
Done. Yeah,
I've officially asked you.
That's it. In. Just let me know. I'm in.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.